Okay, so this year I have been getting out on the golf course a little bit more. I would say during the winter I've probably played about 6 lots of 9 holes, and it's progressively getting better. And as soon as the weather improves, and those of you that watch the channel know that we've been through all sorts of weather over the last few weeks, once the weather improves I'll be out on that golf course and documenting a lot more of that for you guys as well, because I know that it will be more interesting to see myself and other golfers play on the course and how we manage different scenarios. Now, as I've been going around, so after my first couple of games of golf, it was a little sort of sketchy, but what I've started to do is I've started to do a couple of things that have made, particularly my ball striking, just miles better. Now, I wouldn't necessarily suggest I'm the kind of golfer that would struggle with ball striking, but, and I will talk about in this video, with the wedges can sometimes be a little bit suspect, particularly, well, chipping and pitching, okay, maybe again, not so much full shots. Now, what I've really been doing when I've been going out and playing is I realised after my first couple of rounds of golf that the contact wasn't quite as good. It was a little bit sort of clean. So what I've been doing is a couple of things. The first one is in my setup position, is I have just been trying to get the feeling of moving my upper body, or if you like, just starting with a little bit of weight on my lead leg. So I'm just sort of allowing my left leg to just soften a little bit, and it's almost like, because you know, when you're in like a bunker, or you normally widen your stance because it helps you get lower towards the ground, then obviously if you have a very sort of narrowing potential stance, so you know, widening and sinking obviously helps you get that a little bit lower. And again, that was something that really sort of helped my ball striking out, was just getting that sort of feeling of letting my upper body sit a little bit more on my lead leg, letting the left leg just soften a little bit more, and it just sort of felt like I was just getting a little bit lower. Now you need to be careful. So the first thing is with posture, always make sure you sort of bend first, then soften your knees. You just want to make sure that you know, if I'm talking about softening, you don't start doing this and you're standing upright, because obviously your ball striking will get dramatically worse. So you need to make sure you're facing over the golf ball. But again, that has helped. With that, every time I set up to a shot now, I sort of, you know, can feel, once I sort of get that weight right, I just feel so much more confident that I'm going to end up hitting a decent strike. The second thing which I've really been doing, which has been incredibly simple, is just trying to concentrate on keeping my head still. Now, lots of you will think that is utterly, you know, so simple and ridiculous, but you'll be surprised. You know, I would say a good sort of 50-60% of golfers that I work with online have difficulty keeping the head still in the backswing. So just sort of working on keeping my head still and just trying to get a nice rotation around my sort of spine in that backswing position. And that's why, again, on some of the recent videos I've been talking a little bit more about sort of 50-50 weight distribution between your sort of trail, heel and toe, just to really emphasize that we don't really want to be moving in this sort of direction. And for myself in particular, I sort of felt that I was sort of shifting a bit off the ball and then trying to move back on. It was a bit unnecessary. All I've been really concentrating on now is, like I say, is taking my stance, feeling like I'm just lowering to the ground a little bit, upper body a little bit over that lead leg, and then from there just trying to make sure that I get nice rotation in, keeping my head still, so I feel like I'm 50-50 in the top of the backswing. Now, the key thing to all of this is the transition. And again, when I was struggling with ball striking, I just had to make sure as I start the downswing, I just get that feeling of just really moving down in towards that lead leg. So I really felt like I was pushing into that lead leg, and if I get that, then I know that I can sort of hit up on the golf ball. So if you're sort of suffering with ball striking, you really need to make sure that you're aware of, obviously, the simple fact that, you know, maybe a little bit of a tweak in the posture might just freshen things up. Make sure you keep that head nice and still in the backswing. But what you really want to be doing is, as you start this downswing, you really want to be kind of rotating in towards that lead ankle line, so you really feel like you're squashing into the floor, because then that means you can kind of get up and hit the golf ball. Like I say, that's something that I've been doing recently, and when I kind of get myself set up over the ball, I just feel so much more confident that I'm going to produce a decent result in terms of ball striking. And therefore, because my ball striking is good, I can also feel like I've got confidence when it comes to my club face control as well. And just wanted to talk about this one. So it was exactly the same with this. I just sort of felt with, on some of my pitch shots, that they were getting a little bit sort of clean, a little bit sort of thin. So all I've done on the pitching is I've done exactly the same sort of process. I've moved my upper body more over my lead leg, okay? And then from here, what I've equally done is in that backswing position, because obviously with the pitch shot, it's a shorter swing, so you're not going to sort of feel that downward motion like so, right? So all I've been doing on my pitch shots is just getting the feeling as I'm taking it back, it's almost like I just increase the weight a little bit more onto my lead leg. So it almost feels like my head's moving towards the target as I take it back. And this again is just helping me get that sense of being lower. And then from there I can just rotate around, and equally the results in terms of the contact have been much better, and it means that obviously I'm giving myself more chances for birdie, and now I just need to work on the short stick, so I'm converting them. But like I say, things are progressing and moving in the right direction. So same in terms of the setup, sinking towards that lead leg a little bit, and then from there just allow that head to feel like it moves, or the weight pressure moves in towards that lead side, and then that is just going to lend itself to better contact, and therefore building up that confidence. And particularly for us, and particularly for lots of you, ground conditions are very wet, so it's very easy to lose confidence in that ball striking, which is why I thought this video would help lots of you out. So try and understand a couple of the key points. Maybe experiment in your posture, get the upper body a little bit more over that lead leg, keep that head nice and still, but maybe for your pitch shots, you know, we can move a little bit more this way, because we don't really need to sort of, you know, or we can afford to be more on the lead side with the pitch shot. So allow that head to just play around with moving a little bit to that lead side as I'm demonstrating here, and then you should find that that lends itself to much better ball striking. And with the full shot, same thing, keep that head still, sinking towards that lead leg, and I think you'll be surprised how good your ball striking could really become. Let me know how you're getting on. I'll catch up with you guys again really soon.